Hey guys, FatBuddyCat here. How you doing? Well, let's see what we can mix up in the lab tonight. We get back to microbikology.
Alright guys, first things first, our thumb throttle came in from Amazon, so we're going to complete that installation. But we also have something brand new from our friends at OMBwarehouse.com. That's a brake adapter, guys. Let's get that on there. But not too fast. Alright guys, this is raw metal, okay? And usually we just hit these things with the old grill paint. But we're going to take this opportunity to pick up on our orange accents. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit this with some acetone, then some white primer, and then a couple coats of the orange 500 degree enamel. Alright guys, so while our paint is drying, we're going to finish up on this throttle. Okay, now this is that one I got from Amazon. Alright, this is the cable that comes with the thumb throttle. Alright, and it does have a specific inlet in it, okay, that wants to receive that end that comes with it. Alright, the cable's really long, but not really long enough on this end to, you know, complete the circuit. And we'll see what we can do about that. I think we can just cut some of the shroud right off. Alright, and we'll be all up in there anyway. Okay, so all I did was pull the cable right out of the shroud, or the actual liner. Alright, and then I pulled back some of the outside rubber. Alright, and then you have the inside metal part. Okay, see there, it's almost like a spring, and it's wrapped all the way around. Okay, and that's the actual shroud. And then inside of that there's a thin plastic tubing. Okay, so I got that where it wasn't compressed from the cut. Alright, I rolled back, you know, a little bit of that shroud, snipped it off, and then I just cut off a clean piece of the plastic. Alright, and then I slid my cable through. The next part's going to be putting the thumb throttle itself on, and you're going to have to take the screws off the top of it. Alright guys, so when you open it up, there's the literally golden treasure you'll find inside. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory. The grommet's going to sit in that little hole over here. Okay, and then the barrel goes in the cradle. I'll show you what it looks like. And that's all you're going for. We'll just go ahead and make sure everything's set in place, put the top on, screw it down. Okay guys, at this point you can go ahead and put the throttle right on your handlebars. I'm going to run my wire right around the front, down. Alright, I'm going to come across my frame this way. Then I'm going to make like sort of an arc, and then go in through our fitting, through our throttle arm, and then into our clevis. Alright, now as soon as you feed it through, no matter where it is, go ahead and get your clevis on there. Alright, if you start to lose this thing for any reason, you don't want to keep passing it through all these holes. Eventually you will lose the end. It'll fray, and you'll have to do something else to cut your end flat. Buddy over at L&R Rides, I think he actually has a video on how he cuts them with an angle grinder, so you can have a nice flat end. I want to check that out. Alright guys, so I got a couple of our zippity doos on here, and what I'll do is just hide those back up under there, then our plate will cover it. Okay, and what we're doing is going for more of a direct route on the cable. Reason being, when we turn the handlebars, there's nothing to get in the way or, you know, pull the cable at all. So it's basically a fixed position. Alright, everything goes in nice down here. Has a nice clean factory look. Alright, our next thing, we'll just be setting our tension, okay, by moving our clevis in to the end, making sure our throttle is closed over here. Alright, and we'll just pull it up to the edge of our throttle arm and use a flathead screwdriver. Let's see, yeah, right there you can see that. Alright, and a pair of needle nose pliers to hold on to it, tighten it on, that's all. Alright guys, and just like that, we have our throttle installed. Okay, now with this setup we have two limiters. Okay, we have the limiter down here, alright, underneath our throttle return spring, and we also have a limiter up here on the thumb throttle itself. Alright, so, you know, just in mind, if you want to keep them, you can. If not, you can go ahead and take them out. This engine still needs to be broken in, so we're going to be leaving that in for now. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is remove the factory brakes. Now we have the majority of that already done. Alright, so we'll just come down here, and I believe it's just these two. See the black ones up under here? Alright, just take those bolts off, remove the caliper. Alright, you can go ahead and hang that up like a trophy on your wall. This one's in really good condition, cable and all. Okay, if you haven't noticed already, I also removed the bolt down here from this little stabilizer piece that connects to the stock brake adapter. Okay, we're gonna need that adapter and to swap it out, so we're gonna have to take the axle out. All right, so we're gonna drop the chain, just keep moving forward. All right, you can get your nut off, but before you attempt to remove the actual axle, you are best to get your bike up on a stand. Alright, once everything drops out, this is the spacer, okay? The spacer is for the left side. Alright, the spacer for the right side to center the wheel is still attached to yon brake adapter. Okay, so we need that spacer, right? Our other brake adapter doesn't have one, and I don't feel like going to the hardware store, right? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna put it in the vise, and we're gonna go try to cut that off. All right, take your time, do a nice job. Whew. All right, guys. So I decided to use the hacksaw, and I'll show you why. This cutting it close, all right? This is what we're doing right here. Where do you see this come off? I think we got all of that one, huh? Woo-wee! Ooh, she's warm. All right. So, since I was able to cut it right off of the weld, that's all we're gonna grind off. Heck yeah, man. This is my third attempt. This is my third one of these. Alright. Alright, that's pretty close. The rest I can just kind of touch up, file, or a little sandpaper or something. So what I did here, guys, is I just took it. Okay, see how it's nice and flat? I just put it on my file. Alright, held my file down and got a good look at it. Alright, and I made sure it was flat along the bottom. Just filed it till it looks sweet. Alright, so the next step is going to be reassembly. Okay, when this thing goes on the bike, you want it to be like this, alright? So that this is on the bottom. Alright? And your spacer is going to go on the other side of it. Alright? Because there's already a spacer here. So you'll be going like this. Okay? And then your other spacer is going to go on the other side and sandwich the adapter in the middle. Okay, so here's the shish kebab. You're going to put your axle through. Alright. Then you're going to put your adapter on. Alright. And then you're going to put your spacer. Alright. Now you could paint this if you want. I'm not going to right now. But what I like to do is I put the factory side, alright, towards the wheel. So that'll go on. Okay? And that's how that's going to space out. Now if you cut this short, alright, and you ever find that you need a little bit more, just add one washer. Alright, I'm going to put my wheel on, and I'll put my other spacer, push my axle through, washer and a nut. Okay, now before you go torquing it on all the way, you want to take the clip out of the hydraulic brake caliper, okay? This just holds the two pads apart, alright? And you put it up on your rotor, alright, just like so. Okay? Now once you're up there, you have two holes that are threaded on your caliper, okay? And then you have two holes on the adapter. You're going to be passing these bolts through the adapter. Then you have to get two washers. I had a couple. Yep, 1, 2. Okay? 2 washers on. And then you have to get it into the caliper and thread it on. Alright? So, while this isn't torqued down, you have a little bit more room to work with. Let me get it on. Okay, now that we have those in, alright, you can see how the washers space everything together, right? They kind of put a little bit of space between the caliper and the bracket itself. Okay. Now, nothing's completely tightened, alright? Next thing I'm going to do, torque my back wheel on. Okay, the wheel's torqued on, but you can see it's rubbing, right? The only thing it's rubbing on is the brake. Now, when we tighten these up, okay, it's going to bring the caliper over, alright, and it should center it on our disc. Let's try it out. Alright, so finally what I did is I went back and I tightened these 3 bolts, okay, and now that's what we got. Okay, now these are brand new fresh brake pads, okay guys? You wear those in, that's what we call A-okay. Alright guys, that was the hard part. The next part is the routing of the brake handle, okay? Now, you have these banjo bolts that are on the end, okay? As long as you're not squeezing the caliper, okay, or putting any pressure on the system, you can slightly loosen those. Twist your part, you know, to where it needs to be, and then tighten it. Alright, for example, when we're routing this one through, alright, we're going to be going up over our frame this way, alright, and along it up here, okay? Now, to even get that sweep, we're going to have to flip it, okay? So I'm going to loosen this banjo bolt. I'm going to turn my cable up, okay, my brake line, and then I'm going to tighten that bolt real quick. Okay, I got my banjo bolt flipped. Alright, now this may have released a little bit of pressure from the system, but yeah. Okay, so once that's tightened, we can now bring our cable up. Alright, and it's just going to naturally loop through the bike, around the other side. Okay, through the frame, and then right through the fork up to the handlebars. You put it on there and tighten it up. Alright, I'm going to go back. I'm going to put some zip ties up here and probably a couple down here. Alright, last thing, I'll take my snips and I'll go around and cut off all my tails. There's quite a few of them on here. Alright, here's with the chain on. Like butter. Alright, the last thing you're going to do is pull this little tab out. Okay, you might have to, there you go. Alright, and then everything's tight, all your banjo bolts are tight. Pump them up. Oh yeah, we got pressure. Okay, we can roll the bike, can't roll the bike. Roll the bike, can't roll the bike. Okay. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up our installation of the full OMB Warehouse MiniBike hydraulic brake system. Okay, and these would be for the MM80s, the new Colemans. This would also fit the Motovoxes. Alright, so cool stuff guys. Make sure to check it out. Alright, also we have our throttle linkage from Go Power Sports. Alright, we got that on there. We got our Amazon throttle on there. Okay, I think you guys know what's coming next. We got our stop, we got our go. We do have a kill switch down here. Alright, but speaking of kill switches, I'm gonna have to hit mine for the night. Alright, but thanks for watching guys. Have a good night. As always, it's a work in progress. I'll see you tomorrow. You know what time it is.